Namaste. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana. I am an intuitive reader and healer. And today it is my privilege, my pleasure to share with you a journal for wonder walking and talk to you a little bit about my own experience, healing and practices with walking in nature. Hello, Scott. Welcome. I was approached by Amy to share this journal with you. She is launching a Kickstarter next week, I believe. Hello, Shannon. And I thought this was just a really opportune time to share her work because it is extraordinarily beautiful and inspiring. And yeah, so I'm not an artist, and one of the I guess I mean, we're all artists, right? We're all creators in different ways. Hello, Joel. Welcome. Good evening. What am I saying here? So this particular journal, this particular deck, the journal, Explorer's Journal for Wonder Walking, and the deck, the Wonder Walking deck itself, are inspiration for my own creativity in different ways. And one of the things I've put together is a 1-minute clip to share with you some of my wonder walking experiences, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So just right off the top, I want to know if you enjoy walking in nature, and do you do this every day? What is your approach to this? It would be really interesting to share some of that in the chat as well. Hello, Clavis. I'm going to share with you a couple of things I've put on my table that I have collected. And then I thought also I would talk a little bit about my leave a light footprint, tread lightly, be in reverence as you enter the sacred space of nature kind of thing too, because that is really important to me when I go out on my walks every day. So I am fortunate. I live in British Columbia, Canada. I live in a rainforest. I live on the coast. So I can either turn one direction and head into the forest, or turn the other direction and head to the beach. And there is abundance of both. And it is truly, truly magnificent. I do have a nature walk series on my channel too. The playlist I haven't added to for a while, but if you do like some of my photos, they're all about 7 minutes long. They're not too long. So I'll link that playlist after in the description box below. What is in the description box below is the link to the Kickstarter, which launches next week, as well as a link to Amy's website where you can see all of her beautiful art, and the related videos that I've done. So when I first opened the deck, my initial impressions of the deck and the journal, as well as, I believe, pairing it with another deck video. And there's one other where it's featured. I think it's in my most beautiful decks collection. So let's turn to the journal and just start to talk about the cards in the journal. Hello, welcome to, I saw somebody else came in. Oh, you hear my sounds? Those are not canned. Those are real sounds outside my window. Yeah, that's where I live. Okay. And I want to tell the stories of the objects as well on the table, but let's go to Amy's work here. So the author is Amy T. Wan. This is the deck of cards, and if you haven't seen this before, this is an extraordinarily beautiful clamshell box. And the theme, we're going to talk a little bit about the theme of the journal. So the theme of the labyrinth is throughout this journal and the organization of the cards. And the labyrinth is on the back of the cards, and they are not edged. They are on the rose petal finish paper, which does, it keeps the rose petal finish keeps the matte finish of the rose petal. It keeps the watercolor soft, very soft and subtle. And we'll look at the cards in a little bit, but they're really beautiful. One of the things, the criticisms of the cards has been that the font, the words is very hard to read. And Amy talks about that. I'm not sure if it's on her website or where I read this, but her intention isn't to focus on the keyword. Her intention is to evoke something through the imagery. And the keywords are fantastic, which we will talk about a little bit as well too. Okay, so this is the beautiful box. The journal. This is not just a journal. This is a expanded guidebook for the deck. I would tend to call this an inspirational book more than a journal. I usually record my experiences on film and photograph, and I have another journal that I write in. I have written in this very, very little. You'll see there's a few pencil marks and a little bit of entering, but I tend to need more space. And also, I love this book for its beauty. It's a hardcover book, and I'm not sure if there are going to be changes to the Kickstarter, so you'll have to check out the campaign for that. This first edition is sold out. So what I thought I would do, I've marked a few pages here. The coloring of the watercolors is organized into, so the deck is organized into 4 suits, loosely based on the 4 suits of the minor arcana. And the way that Amy has painted this, there's a fluidity transitioning from one suit to the other. And so there's a crossover of color. And you can see here that these dark greens from the truth finding suit carry into the pink colors of the creative suit. And it's just this, it's so thoughtful, so thoughtfully organized. Oh, the description of where I live is beautiful. I'm just seeing Scott's comment here. I thought you were hearing the birds outside my window in the background. Okay. Isn't this a gorgeous bookmark? This didn't come with this book. This is the one that came with Cosmovisions, but I like to use it with this journal. One of the things this journal doesn't have is one of those ribbon bookmarks, and I love it when books have those, you know, the permanent, or even a couple of them. I would really appreciate that in the new edition of the book. So here you can see I've put pencil marks. I don't know if you can see this because of the lighting. Let's zoom in. I've just put pencil marks here. So wonder and curiosity, the physical realm, is one of the suits. Magic making, the creative realm. So that is the suit of fire, or loosely connected to the suit of fire. And then truth finding, the inner realm. And these, you'll see the associations are a little bit different than what you might associate with the suit of cups, right? Truth finding and the inner realm. So the inner realm speaks to the subconscious and our connection with what is revealed through connecting with that. And then the 4th suit, secret garden, the influence realm. Sorry, I'm reading sideways. And the influence realm is loosely connected to the element of earth. Air. And one of the things I haven't done with this deck and with my work with this deck is try to make it a tarot deck, because it is not a tarot deck. It is, it's just a beautiful experience of working with and connecting with nature. You know, you don't need to add something. What do I want to say? I don't want to force the layer of tarot onto this deck and when I'm working with this journal. Okay. This is an example of, and I'm going to tell you a couple stories here. Paradolia. And I don't know if I'm saying the word correctly, pareidolia. This is a word that I was not familiar with, and I'm just going to read to you the description from the journal. Pareidolia is seeing faces or scenes in unexpected places. What can you spot today? I see things, rabbits hopping in cumulus clouds, a wizened old man on a tree trunk, dancing girls in pansy flowers. Pareidolia is a tendency to see figures and scenes in abstract patterns or unexpected places. And it's one of my favorite games to play on a wonder walk. So one of the things that I do when I'm out on a wonder walk is I try to capture these faces, and you'll see a few of them in the clip when I show it. There's a huge, huge rock very close to my home that appears like it's emerged. It doesn't belong. It's so big. It's in this random place. And the very first time I saw this rock, to me, it looked like a gorilla, the way the square shoulders and the square head. And so every time I walk by it, I pause and I acknowledge. It's almost as if it's emerged, through the earth from the African subcontinent, and it's peeking up here in Canada. It's the funniest thing, and I can't not see it as a gorilla. And there's a few other of the pictures that I'll show you where maybe I can share with you the photos, because that I'll try to, I know it's not as, I'll still show you the clip later. But this whole concept of pareidolia is really something. And it'd be really cool if you could share. So I'm going to go share screen, window. Okay. And I'm going to go like this. Let's see, how do I do that? I guess I need to make it. So I'll show you my gorilla. And we'll see how long that takes to. There's my gorilla. Can you see that? So this to me just feels, and do you see his nose and his eyes? And to me, that is the right shoulder. It's really something. So that is the gorilla that I was talking about. And then let's go back. I'll give you another example. Like, here's one. I see the face of a turtle coming out of this tree. And when I get an opportunity to commune with these aspects of nature that have come to life, it just feels like I have more of an intimate connection with nature. And it's like this practice has become a part of my walks. Do I have let's see, I'm looking for the three. Here it is, this one. Okay, so this one is, it's a log that I have to go underneath on this particular trail. And when it's raining, these three mushrooms are wet. And it's almost as if I have to pass through an entrance, and like these are the guardians of this entrance, and I always greet them and acknowledge them and say hello to them. And it's just amazing. They're really old and they've been there forever. And so yeah, so this is I don't know, it's just really a special experience. And what Amy's journal has helped me to do is to name some of these things. So let's go back and switch this over. Hi, Danielle. Okay, so this is in the chapter of creativity, the pink chapter. And I believe this is the first one. You can see I have written in this journal a little bit. This one's called First Love, Love at First Sight, and Always Infatuation. How will you express what captured your heart? So Amy has a few different ideas in working. This is the card itself, in working with the deck. And one would be to, like bibliomancy, you open the book and where the page falls open, that's the inspiration for the day. Or to take do the same with the deck of cards and to randomly choose a card and make that your focus for the day. Another way to work with the deck would be to work through one of the suits and to really get to know the level and the energy of the suit. I mean, she has so many amazing ideas, which I'll share with you in a second in the book. But her prompts are really something. And this, I'm just going to read this to you. This top of the page, it says, perhaps it's the bright red sun sinking as it stains everything, a juicy tint of red and pink, leaving you speechless and memorized. And I wrote here, sit with it, be it, hear its music. As the sun rises over the Salish Sea, I feel the communion of their energies. I have been here before at sunrise, gazing out to sea. There will be many more sunrises. When I have an opportunity to share some of my experiences and write them in the book and connect with Amy's words and connect with the book and to tie together some of my my adventures, if you will, it's like a treasure box to place. It's a treasure box to place some of these memories. This is another of the first love pages, and she suggests talking about first love memories, rose-tinted places, plan a day's adventure to your favorite haunts from childhood or places that remind you of them. A walk in a strangely familiar woods, a seaside town of many playful summers past, and soak in the rose-tinted memories and observe how your colors. So what I did here was I wrote down some of my first loves. Oh, the smell, the feeling of arriving in Hawaii, her plumeria, oceanscapes, rising mountains, and lush foliage. It's always the flowers. I'll never forget the first time I saw bougainvillea in Okinawa or the orange flowering trees in Tarapeat or hanami in Japan. And I can't even read my own writing. Oh, and moss at Kokedera in Kyoto, or Joseph's introduction to tardigrades. So there's not a lot of space to write here, but what I have captured in this particular paragraph are just what the journal has done. It's prompted me to remember some very important first loves about what it is that I love walking in nature. And so I thought I would just share with you a couple of these. So when I was in my 20s, I lived in Japan for a long time, and this is where I learned to love moss and learned about and developed an appreciation for moss. I would go to temples and I would take long train rides to go to these places and to sit and commune with nature. Oh my goodness. So when was I? So some 25 years later, I was at a hot yoga teacher training, and we were sitting outside in a garden, And one of the teachers, one of the teacher trainees, also a yoga teacher, was scolding us for where we were sitting and said and encouraged us to get off the moss. And we were just sitting on like paving stones with cracks of moss in between. He says, "You're going to kill the tardigrades. You're going to kill the tardigrades. The tardigrades are very, the tardigrades are very, what's the word? Like it's easy to kill the tardigrades. So, and they're what keep the moss alive." All right. So fast forward to when I opened this book. Now, this is not this deck. This is not by Amy. This is by Rebecca Lefebvre. I've also shared her series on my channel. Well, when I opened this deck, oh my God, I was just tickled pink, because there's a tardigrade. There's a tardigrade card in this deck. And how many people know what tardigrades are and have had a personal experience and such a deep connection with moss? Anyway, so one of the things I love to do is to pull a card from Fantastic Being and a card from Wonder Walking, and then take the two of them into my journaling or into my Wonder Walk, or the theme of my Wonder Walk for the day. Yeah, I just feel so blessed that I've had so many magical experiences. It is about the flowers, and I've traveled to lots of different places in Asia, and for me, the bougainvillea is always the bougainvillea, or the bright colored flowers, are always a highlight, and the plumeria in Hawaii. Okay, so what I wanted to share with you was, that's a beautiful page, Walking Through the Seasons. Okay, so in the back of the journal, there are a few different spreads for working with the deck. That's not what I wanted to share with you. But it's so beautifully done, the way that she encourages you to work with the deck. And just look at the photographs. They're just gorgeous, as well as the artwork. Okay, what did I want to, oh, the activities. So for each of the cards, let's look at woods. I wanted to show you woods because it's one of my favorite ones, because I live in the woods. And then I can tell you about my friends in the woods. So the woods, enigmatic, mysterious, and full of life. The woods is for exploring the unknown within and without. And so in the journal, what she has before, then there's blank sections for reflecting. She shares with you activities for each of the cards. So there's not only activities at the end of the book, you also have specific activities and suggestions for every single one of the cards. It's just really, really thoughtful. Here she talks about Shinrin Yoku, forest bathing, which is just kind of a natural thing for what I love to do. Forest rhythms and quest in the woods. Name your favorite woods where you live, somewhere fanciful like you would have as a child. The forest of the golden light, the shadow woods. Before your next walk, think of a problem you'd like to untangle and imagine yourself as a fairy tale character on a quest through this magical forest, which will reveal answers hidden in plain sight. So part of my experience in working with the journal is tying together and weaving these stories. So why don't I show you this 1 minute clip I put together, and then I'm going to share with you some of the things that I have found on my Wonder Walking. Okay. Mhm. I love putting these clips together and putting these different walks together that I've shared with you from time to time on my YouTube channel. And I can't tell you how much inspiration I have. Like the inspiration comes from you as well as beautiful work like this. It just makes me want to capture and to like, um, it's just treasure. It's treasure, and it's not treasure for accumulation. It's treasure for study and connection and respect. So this is the rock that was in that little video, and this one, it doesn't look as nice when it's dry, but this came into my life at a really important time. And can you see the white crack through the rock? And it's green when it's wet, or sometimes it looks black. It's a black heart. And that day I remember wondering why I found a black heart. And it just really felt, it was exactly what I needed to find at that time. And so I do look for natural hearts, and I don't always pick them up. Sometimes what I like to do is to pick them up and then put them somewhere prominent where other people can find them. That's really, I like to do that. Another thing I love to look for are natural wands. And this is a pretty special one. This one has got little barnacles all over it. And what I do with my natural wands is I use them to connect the energy on crystal grids when I do gridding. This one I have to be very careful of because the barnacles tend to fall off. But I couldn't believe my fortune when I found this wand. It's pretty special. And this one, let me see. I'm going to switch the camera so you can see this one. So this is one I use all the time, and it's much, much longer, and it's just wood. But this is so, and I decided not to decorate it because it's just naturally such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So part of my wonder walking experience is, so when I go into the woods or I go to the beach, I usually I close my eyes and I arrive and I acknowledge my presence, and I stand or sit in gratitude. I ask permission to trespass. I feel like that's something that came through my Japanese experience, like that expression, ojamashimasu. I want to ask if it's okay if I trespass. And usually, so one of the things in Amy's book, she talks about what to carry on your wonder walk. I believe that's right near the beginning. So because she's an artist, she carries little mini paint sets and so forth. I'll see if I can find that page for you. So one of the things I carry is offerings. So this is at the beginning. So she says what to carry on a wonder walk, little tiny journals, your camera, and so forth. But essential. So in my essential list is tobacco, herbs, and a camera. And another thing that I like to carry. So sometimes I carry garden clippers, because if I'm taking a sampling of something, you can't, I want to cut it as unobtrusively as possible. So sometimes I have a mini set of garden clippers. Hi, Colleen. It reminds you of Kernunos. Yeah, it's really something. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you today was this feather. So some of you have heard this story before. It's an incredible story, actually. So I was on a wonder walk with my son. I was taking him on this trail that he hadn't been on before, something new that I had found. And he had come for a visit. and we were making our way down a steep slope towards one of the beaches near my home. And when I was down at the water, so this is in a camp, like it's near a YMCA camp. I live right next to a YMCA camp. And down, there's a couple of swings that have been built like right on the water, so you can swing out over the ocean. So naturally, I climb on this swing, and the swing broke, and I went kerplunk right into a very shallow water, rocks, logs. It was not pretty. It was quite a thud. I was okay, just a little shaken, and didn't crack the back of my head or anything, but it was not fun. So my son, being the wonderful person he is, he helps mom up, and we take our time, very slowly meandering our way back up from the water through the woods back home. And we're on our way up the same trail that we came down, and right on the edge of the trail is this bird, this dead bird. And we retraced our steps. This bird was not there on our way down. And so part of my experience was, well, when I fell, did the bird fall? It was like this weird connection with the bird. And so we stopped, and we had this little ceremony, and we took a few feathers from the bird, and my son buried the bird, and it was so emotional. It was this crazy connection. Yeah. So I can't encourage you enough. Like if this is not something you do on a regular basis, and the thing is, you don't have to go into the forest. Wonder walking can happen in your backyard. It can happen in your neighbor's garden. It's about slowing down, and when you see a butterfly, not just go, oh yeah, there's a beautiful butterfly, but to actually sit and to breathe and just to be. Or maybe the hummingbirds I have so many hummingbirds around my yard, and I just like to close my eyes and listen and be with them. And so sometimes a wonder walk is all the way out the back door. It's just into my own yard, into my own garden. It doesn't have to be a big adventure, but it can be a big adventure. Yeah. So I want to thank Amy for this inspiring, beautiful piece of art that she has created. And I want to wish her well with the campaign for the second edition of the book. And the only thing that I would really change, and this is a weird little thing, is just to add the ribbon bookmark. I'm totally okay with the limited space to write, because to me this is more of a guidebook for the deck rather than a journal, because my journaling tends to be more prolific. I like lots of pages, and one of my hesitations initially with this journal was I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't, because it's so beautiful, I didn't want to write in it and then scratch it out. So like, this is for my good copy. But what I tend to do is I just answer the prompts, and then sometimes those prompts lead me to write more, or to sometimes even paint in another book that I have. I love watercolors. Yeah. So thank you for being here this morning. Be sure to check out some of the related videos, which are in the description box below, as well as Amy's Kickstarter campaign and her website. She also has all of her art on Instagram, and you can get that Instagram link. Just go to the website, and down at the bottom, all her social media is there. She's a wonderful artist. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Take good care of yourselves. Namaste.